Hello everyone. Today I want to talk with you about churches in the Netherlands and about what happened with them, because I get a lot of comments from Polish people about it and about the Dutch religion and the Dutch churches and the differences between Poland and the Netherlands. So I wanted to talk about it because when I was a kid, I went to church with my grandma. And it was a very simple church, but I was very young, so that was my church experience. And then I came to Poland and I was just so amazed how literally every church is very beautiful inside. And of course we have history lessons at school, and I knew about the differences between religions, also in Christian. But it's always different when you experience it yourself, when you see it with your own eyes. It's like then you realize. I don't know if you get the history lessons in Poland about what happened in the Netherlands and more like the western part of Europe with France and also Scotland, Switzerland, I think, and Belgium. It happened there like in the 16th century. So before that, we also had Catholic churches. All of them. But then in the 16th century everything changed because we had the Calvinists, and they had a different view of religion. And then the beeldenstorm happened, and that's the Dutch word. It means the iconoclasm, that when the Calvinists destroyed a lot of iconic things in the churches, and they made it like very simple ones. They destroyed statues and like wall paintings and like the beautiful things in the churches. That happened all in the 16th century. In the summer of 1566 it started in the Netherlands, and it was spread out in about like 20 years or something. It happened, and it was the beginning of the 80-year war, also called the Dutch Revolt, because there was a conflict with the Spanish government, because of course they wanted to stop all the Calvinists and Protestants and made it Catholic again, but there was a big war and they were fighting against that. And as we all know, in 1648 the Dutch Republic was recognized as independent. Also in the Netherlands they found kind of a peace between the different kind of religions, the Calvinistic one, like the Protestants, and the Reformed churches, and on the other side the Catholic. So that's what happened in the Netherlands, and that I think that's changed a lot, because that didn't happen in Poland, and that's why the percentages of Catholic people in the Netherlands is quite low, because it happened 400 years ago. And in the late 19th century the numbers were 60% Calvinistic and 35% Catholic. And since then a decline in both happened in the Netherlands. And it's very interesting because now the biggest religion in the Netherlands is Catholic. So the Calvinistic one, the Protestants, it declined to I think 13%, and now the Catholic ones are 23%. So it's changing. As you all know, my mom and I went on a trip through the Netherlands, through Utrecht and Deventer, and we saw some churches there. So I wanted to talk about 4. So in Utrecht, the first one I wanted to talk about was the one we could see from our hotel, and then we walked past it, and the clocks were making it sound. And then back home I realized that church is called the St. Nicholas Church, and in the Netherlands then it's called the Nicolai Church, and that's our surname. So it's a kind of special. Also because the two towers are not the same height, and that's the same with our Mariacki in Krakow. So I immediately felt some kind of connection with that church because of the name, because of the towers, reminded me of Krakow. And that church is from the medieval times because it's from the 12th century. And it became Protestants in the Beeldenstorm, so in the 16th century when it happened. And when that happened, a while no one visited the church because it was kind of forbidden to be Catholic for a while. So the city, the government wanted to destroy the church, but then the people were like fighting against that, and they won. So luckily the church is still here. And the second one I wanted to talk about in Utrecht is the Dom Church. That's the one I went to with my mom, with the beautiful little garden inside and the special hallways and alleys. So that church is also from the medieval times. It's from 1254. And it was, again, it was a Catholic church, and they destroyed that Catholic church in 1580. So that one also became Protestant. What's interesting is that the Dom Tower, so the tower of the church, is the highest church tower of the Netherlands, and that it's separated from the church because they had like the ship of the church, they were building it, it was almost finished, and then there was a very big storm, almost a tornado, I think it was, in 1674, and the ship of the church collapsed. So, and they never rebuilt it. So now you have the tower and then nothing and the church. So that's a really special feature of the church, and it's a Gothic one, so it looks a lot like some French churches, cathedrals, and now they are talking about rebuilding the ship of the church again, so it will become one again, maybe. I think 50% is pro and 50% is against, so we will see what will happen. Then we go to Deventer, and there we also saw some churches. First, my mom and I passed the St. Lebuinus Church, and that's what first was the wooden church in 1770. First there was a wooden church, then there became a stone one, but that got destroyed with fires. And then the church that is standing now is from the 15th century. And it was Catholic, became Protestant when the Calvinists took it over in 1580 as well. What is special about Deventer's churches is that there's another one. It's also called that name, Lebuinius, but they called it now different. In Dutch it's Broederenkerk, and it's still a Catholic church. So this church is from the 14th century, and the Calvinists took over in 1580, but in 1799 it became Catholic again, because then there was a peace between the religions in the Netherlands, and they divided the churches. So this one became Catholic again. So I think that's also interesting that's what happened in like almost 200 years later. And the last one I wanted to talk about is the one we went to. We went inside, my mom and I, with the two towers, and it was standing on a hill. So it's called, again, a St. Nicholas Church, Nicolai Church. But because it's on a hill, they also call it a hill church. And that one also became Protestant, and it stayed that way. It was built in the 12th century, so it's really a medieval church again. And it was there to also for the sailors and the people from ships, so they could see the church, they could see the time. In 1915, from 1915 till 1924, they made restorations about the wall painting. So that's why we could see some of the old wall paintings in the church. They made restorations so we could see from the Catholic times how it was. And what is really kind of sad is that there are no masses anymore in this church. And it's used for expositions and meetings and like classical music concerts. So, and that's what happens in many churches now in the Netherlands. That they get used for different kind of purposes. And yeah, that all has to do with the numbers of people that go to, that say that they don't go to the church anymore. So I hope this all was interesting for you to hear. For me it was, because of course I had it at school, but I didn't realize the impact of it until I came to Poland, and I was like, okay, I have to now learn more about this religion and about how it differs with the church I went to in the Netherlands, and why in the Netherlands it's so different. So I hope it was interesting, and if you want to know more, please comment down below. I listen to your recommendations and tips and questions. So yeah, bye.